All right. Good evening, fight fans, and welcome to another exciting episode of The Scoop featuring our champ, Bola Ray, and his show, The Scoop. On talkinfight.com and a variety of other streaming platforms, including YouTube and Twitch. So, good evening, Bola Ray. Good evening, viewers. What do you got lined up for us tonight, sir?
A whole lot. Um, Internationally, Canadian boxing athletes have represented the nation very well with little financial support from our government. This is done predominantly for the love of boxing. I'm your boy Bola, and this is The Scoop. This week, I'm going to be doing episodes on amateur champions that never turned professional. So, born March 17th, 1969 in a small town called Schreiber, Ontario, comes one of Canada's longest reigning amateur champions in the form of one Dominic Filane Figlomeni, or Hollywood as he preferred. Dominic attributes his beginnings in boxing to the fact that the realization finally set in that he's gonna be short for the sport of hockey, and he couldn't sing or dance like his father. So, as a consolation, boxing won the lottery. During his 10 years and 10 times as national light flyweight champion, 106 pounds, he lived in Oakville, Ontario, while fighting out of Atlas Boxing Gym under the legendary coach Adrian Teodorescu. Now, for the record, I called him Papa Adrian because he loved me more.
Nothing to do with his biceps?
Nothing to do with biceps. So all I can think of right now is I got 106 pounds of twisted steel and sex appeal coming to take me out at the ankles. For Dom's first amateur fight, he walked into the squared circle at a monstrous 50 pounds to face off against one Trevor Hurricane Phillips in a smoke-filled Legion in Thunder Bay, Ontario in 1983. It wasn't to be his day, but it didn't deter him from pursuing the sport at all, actually. When asked, what was your driving force behind his ongoing drive for excellence, he was one for the individuality of the sport. So, having played many team sports prior to boxing, this scenario suited him better. You get out of it what you put into it. Every day was an opportunity to learn another angle in the chess game called boxing. Now, 10 years on the national team touring the world on somebody else's dime doesn't hurt either, along with a lifetime of memories and friendships are positively irreplaceable. Now, his reign as the light flyweight champion of Canada began in 1990 and lasted consecutively until 2000. Within that time, he had amassed quite a few accolades, such as two-time Olympian, 92 and 96, three-time Commonwealth team member, actually bringing home 2 bronze medals from 2 of the games. He was a gold medalist in the Sweden Box Open Championships tournament, silver medalist in the 97 Francophone Games, 3-time Detroit Golden Glove champion, 3-time Golden Glove national finalist. One of those times, he faced up against none other than our Money Mayweather, Floyd Mayweather Jr.
Wow.
With that being said, the part that I find most impressive is that these are not the only teams that he showed up for. Like, he really dominated the division for a decade. Unfortunately, I have a finite amount of time to talk, and there is still so much more that needs to be said about this little dynamo. So, why didn't such a decorated champion pursue the pro game? Dom competed for the love of the sport. And once it turned into a business, his perception of the game would change. There are a number of pros in the gym training with him, and he witnessed them going through the trials and tribulations, the bad business deals that the sport had to offer or could put you into. There were people courting him to turn pro and showing him the lucrative side of the pro game. But this just never appealed to him. Being a little guy, there wasn't an exorbitant amount of money to be made in comparison to, well, the gorilla divisions. And with that, he actually had aspirations of making his money outside of the sport of boxing. He made a quote that I found quite telling, in that he didn't want his kids to ever want a bike and then have to ask him, when do you fight next? It speaks volumes about the state of boxing domestically and abroad, especially for the lighter weight classes. Life after boxing is a pleasant one for Dominic, being married with 4 kids and moving back to Schreiber. He owns and manages a sportswear and embroidery company called Hollywood Filane. He still is active in his family's business. Family businesses like a gas station, a motel, spring water company called Filane Canada Spring Water, and a newly opened restaurant. Post-boxing life also included a group that he started called the Boxing Alumni. This group started in 2010 and is a reunion of past national team members, culminating up in Schreiber, and reminiscing and sharing pictures from team trips and that they had all shared. This scenario has expanded to the point where friends from all over the world are chiming in to exchange their own team memories and stories and what have you. It's quite the success as far as I'm concerned. Now, with that, I'd like to take this time to thank an amazing little ambassador of the sport for the country and Canadian Boxing Hall of Famer. Enjoy your retirement, man. You more than earned it. If you enjoyed this this episode, please smash the like button down below. Make sure you make sure you subscribe, and remember, it's your boy Bola, and that's the scoop.
Thanks very much, Ray. That's great. He's a friend of mine on Facebook, but I've never met him, and now I know a lot about him. That's great.
Yeah. I still remember the first time I met him. It was my first time at Nationals in 97. Edmonton. Or wasn't, yeah, 97. Yeah. And I'm just thinking, like, no one can touch this guy. I didn't think grown men were that small. And he just walked through everybody in the division. I was like, it was impressive. It was impressive.
Good stuff, man. So you're gonna have a week full of guys who are amateurs, never went pro, but have great careers after their life in boxing.
That's the game plan. There's so many of them, and he hit the nail on the head with the reality is, especially for even for the big guys, like the sport is underdeveloped over this side of the pond, at least for the most part. There's certain boxing promotional teams that have the right recipe, and in Canada, unfortunately, the only ones I've seen that I can actually say, yeah, you know what, you're doing it right, are at Quebec. Groupe Yvon Michel, Interbox, like you're doing it right. And now Eye of the Tiger. It's very difficult. Actually, it's just not correct. If you're a professional athlete that needs to work a side gig so as you can compete, then are you really professional? Right? And you're going up against guys who are financially secure. Their scenario is secure. They know that they have fights coming up on a regular basis. Like what? Like you're already starting behind the 8 ball, and I totally understand, having gone or still going through it. I totally understand why somebody, or all these guys, would choose otherwise. So, yeah.
Well, it doesn't sound like Dominic has any regrets. That's for sure. He sounds like he's doing quite well.
By all means, he's done exceptionally well. Built a family, built a life, but he's still involved, and that's again another attribute that I can only tip my hat to him for. He's still doing something within the boxing world.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well done to him. Very good. Thank you, Ray. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And for all the viewers out there, we'll see you tomorrow night. Thank you for joining us.
Cheers.